During the 2011-2012 season, the Drexel Dragons men's basketball team had arguably their most successful season in school history. The team was among the nation's best that year, and at one point had won 19 straight games. The team finished the regular season that year as conference champions with an overall record of 27-6. However, they lost to Virginia Commonwealth University in the conference championship. After the great season, the Dragons still seemed likely to receive an at-large bid. However, the Dragons were wrongly denied the opportunity to compete in the NCAA tournament that year, and instead had to settle for an NIT appearance. I sat down with associate basketball coach Mike Connors recently to discuss the 2011-12 season.
The 11-12 season, I thought we knew going into the season we were going to be pretty good because the previous year we had won 21 and beaten Louisville at Louisville. We started out slow. Started the season 0-2 in conference play, but then we ended up winning 19 in a row before losing the conference final to VCU in Richmond. But we felt throughout the year that we were going to be able to make some noise and be a factor in the race, and then everything just came together after starting out 0-2, and then winning the regular season championship.
That year, the Dragons were loaded with talent and had a very balanced attack, having 4 players average double figures in scoring. Sophomore Franz Massenet, freshman Damian Lee, junior Chris Fouch, and senior Sammy Givens all played a major part in the phenomenal season. That year, the Dragons won 15 road games, which was the most of any team in Division I basketball. The conference the Dragons play in, the Colonial Athletic Association, had 3 teams represent the conference in the NCAA tournament the previous 2011 season, with VCU making it all the way to the Final Four. That was the second time in the previous 6 years that a CAA team was in the Final Four. To make things even more difficult for the Dragons, that year's conference championship game against reigning Final Four participant VCU was located at a neutral site, which happened to be in VCU's hometown of Richmond, Virginia. After surprisingly not being selected for the NCAA tournament, the players and coaches were obviously upset, but they chose to take a more positive approach on the matter.
So after we lost to VCU in the conference finals, and we felt we had a real good chance to get in that large bid based on winning the regular season championship, winning 19 games in a row. I believe we won 13 road games that year, which was the most in Division I. So our whole thing was, and Bruisers pointed out to the guys, that even though we didn't win the conference tournament to receive the automatic bid, that there was a good chance we would get a at-large bid. But he said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. We know we're going to be playing basketball, after the conference tournament regardless. So from that standpoint, I think we were disappointed we didn't get an at-large bid just because of our body of work throughout the year.
During that season, only Kentucky, Syracuse, Murray State, and VCU had more wins than the Dragons. The Dragons had beaten 5 20-win teams, as well as a 19-win team and an 18-win team. At season's end, the Dragons were ranked top 30 in both the AP and the coaches poll. Immediately after the win over Drexel in the conference championship, VCU head coach Shaka Smart, who now coaches at Texas, praised the Dragons. He said there's no doubt that they're an NCAA tournament team. However, the NCAA committee seemed to exclude the Dragons on their weak non-conference schedule alone.
You never know how the selection committee decides who goes in and who doesn't. They can point to one area and say, okay, your strength of schedule. But we beat who was on the schedule, and our non-conference schedule, we didn't have, a top 10 win or necessarily a top 20 win. But we did well in the non-conference. We stumbled early in the Virgin Island tournament, finishing 1-2. But I think our body of work supersedes the fact that we didn't have any major wins against, say, a BCS type of school. We had enough in our favor that I think we should have received a at-large bid.
After seeing all the facts and talking with associate coach Mike Connors, there is no doubt in my mind that the 2011-2012 Drexel Dragons were robbed of an opportunity to compete in the NCAA tournament.